What's up, everybody? So recently I started a very big project. I'm turning half of my garage into a YouTube studio slash office. And this is update number 2. So I'm going to take you around the room and show you everything that I've done so far. I'm not nearly close to being finished, but I have done a lot since the first video that I posted. So I'm going to take you around the room and basically show you the setup now, how it looks, and then show you some of the stuff that I have planned for the future. I think it's going to be a really, really cool space. It's going to take me a while because my dad is helping me. I'm basically helping my dad help me. So I kind of have to go, do things when he's available. But there are some things that I can do myself and that I have done myself. But why don't we start with this desk slash table. And I'm going to use air quotes a lot in this video because some of the stuff isn't finished yet and some of the stuff I'm using it as one thing when it's really not that thing, and you'll kind of understand. But let's start with this desk. So this is just a butcher block that I bought from Home Depot, and I stained it myself, and it's sitting on top of 2 sawhorses that I had. And the reason why I'm using that is because it's really all I have. And eventually I want to turn this into like an actual desk. I want to buy a motorized, standing desk, like just the frame, and then mount this tabletop, this butcher's block onto that and use that. I haven't done that yet, and I'm kind of reluctant to do that. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. But this is, so I had a very complicated setup before in my home theater. Basically, I would take this, and this thing it's pretty heavy. Like, it's not too heavy to where I can't pick it up, but because of its size, it's in an awkward size to have to pick up and move like all the time. So this is 48 inches, I believe, this way, so 2 feet, and then 4 feet this way. So basically what I would do is I would pick this up from my garage, bring it into my home theater in the back of my theater where I have very limited amount of space, and then I would take the 2 sawhorses, bring that in there, set this on top, and then I would have to set up my microphone, I would have to set up my lights, I would have to set up the camera, and I had so much little space to work with. I could barely get behind the desk to even film videos. It was super tedious and it was very tiring. And there were days where I was like, I want to film and I have that passion, but I just don't want to keep setting this up. So then I started to where I just left this inside of my guest bedroom, but the rest of the process was still the same. So that's part of the reason why I was like, you know what? I just need to go ahead and, start the process of moving into my garage. So once I got the walls up, or a wall, which I'll show you, I have this set up. So like I said, this is just sitting on top of Sawhorse, and I have my main camera, which I just got, the Lumix S5 Mark II, which I'm super happy about because I finally have reliable autofocus. I can take this thing on the road with me and not have to worry about the autofocus. And then I have another camera right here, my original camera, the Lumix S5. And before I was using different setups. I was using like the S5 and my phone, which was difficult because the resolutions were different. It was extremely hard to get the same color profile, which I couldn't. So that's why sometimes a lot in my first videos, like when I was doing multicam, the colors were all off. So once I got the camera, I was using that, and then I had a Canon R10 for a little bit that I was using, and I basically bought that to go to CES because I knew the autofocus was going to be good, and then I returned it when I found out they were coming out with the Lumix S5 Mark II. So now both cameras are the same, the color profiles are going to be the same. It's probably still going to be a little bit hard to color match just because I'm color grading, so I'm using Vlog, but it's better. But I have a mic right here that's right out of frame. I've got some lights mounted and stuff. So, I have my iPad over here that I can use to connect to my Lumix, the Mark I. And then I have my Padcaster remote that I use for when I'm doing scripting. But I think that's about it. I mean, behind me, you see some, and I'll show you this too, but behind me I have some wall art, And just to kind of show you, I have an outlet right, not in the middle of the wall, but I mean, it's right in the middle up. So I was like, man, how am I going to cover that? Eventually, I'm going to get a black one. That way it's just black. But I was like, you know what? I'll just put this on here, and that way it'll cover it up, and it gives me some wall art. But, and I have another wall art that you can't see right now. I painted this wall maybe about like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, finally, and it looks so much better. So I think that's all I can show you that's here right now. Let me hop on my gimbal and show you everything else. All right, so let's start with this wall. So this is one of the other pieces of wall art that I have on the wall. And so this is the wall. Sorry about the lighting in here. I'm doing the best that I can. But yeah, so that's the wall. Painted the wall not too long ago. And then if you look over here in the corner, there's this eyesore. So I have a curtain that I'm going to cover this up with because, you know, when I'm doing shots or unboxings or something, for whatever reason, if this is going to be in the shot, I don't want it in my shot. So I got this. So I got that, which is a curtain that I'm going to use. I'm going to get a rod and I'm going to put it up there, and it'll cover that when, you know, I'm filming and you won't see it. And then when I'm not filming, then, you know, I can just leave it open. All right, so this is the setup right now. So I did a couple of janky things, but hey, it works. So that is my mic setup. So that's what the mic, I'm using a shotgun mic, and I have just a cheap curtain rod or shower curtain rod. And then, you know, I have some actual window curtain hangers, you know, to hold the rod. And I'm using that to mount my microphone with, you know, a couple of magic arms. And then you can see I've got the cable going over to the wall, down, and then it's coming down to where my main camera is on my tripod. So right here is where my main camera sits, but I'm using it right now on the gimbal. And then I have the cable going into there. So then I have my studio light, which I just mounted last week or this week. But before I had it on the floor, I had it on a light stand, and the light stand is huge. And it was just taking up so much space. So my plan was to mount this anyway. So I got a light, you know, ceiling light mount, and I have it mounted. Obviously the cable is hanging right now, but eventually we're gonna move this light that's right here, and we're gonna move it on the other side, and then we're gonna put a outlet in the ceiling, and then I'll just have the cable, you know, plugged into the ceiling, and then I can do some cable management and won't be hanging around like that. But let me take you over here. So that's the B cam. That is my, you know, my first camera that I was using, which I loved it. Love everything about it except the autofocus. The autofocus is super, super janky. So now I have the Mark II, and it's got good autofocus. I'm using it right now. It's still not perfect, but man, it's way better than before. But anyways, that's my B cam, and that's when, you know, I'm using for multicam. So that's what I'm using. And then I'm using my iPad to connect to that. So I think it went to sleep. Let me turn on the camera. So I can see myself when I'm sitting here. I can monitor myself, and then I can, you know, basically control the camera wirelessly, which is really cool. It works very good, especially if the autofocus isn't working. I can just turn it on to manual focus, and then, you know, I can control it. But this is the view from where I'm sitting. So you see behind me, you don't see any of this stuff. But here's the wall. And, you know, we got the wall up, or one wall. Well, that doesn't make sense. We got the wall up, but I still have some work to do. As you can see, I have some acoustic treatment in there. that I started putting in, but we're basically doing 2 layers of sheetrock on the outside, and then, you know, the acoustic treatment, and then 1 layer of sheetrock on the inside. And the reason why I'm doing 2 layers of sheetrock on the outside is to basically help a little bit more with, you know, the sound, because I am in the garage. You know, they don't really put acoustic treatment out there because they don't really need to. And, you know, I'm out in the garage, and so I hear everything. Every car that passes by, somebody's walking by and they cough, I hear it. So putting 2 layers of sheetrock just gives that, you know, extra layer that sound would have to go through. And then I have the insulation that's, you know, has some acoustic properties, and then another layer of sheetrock. And just having this wall here already makes a huge difference in the sound. But I'm gonna need to put some, you know, acoustic treatment, because when I'm recording, I don't know if it bothers you guys, but this is basically an echo chamber. It's not as bad right now because I have a lot of junk in here, so it's kind of taking up some of the reverberation. But eventually I'm gonna have to put some acoustic treatment in here once everything gets finished, but that's gonna be a while. So that's that. And then I have some other lights. So I have another light here, it's bouncing off of the ceiling. And then I have a light there that I'm using. So let me take you over to where my station is gonna, well, before that, let me just go ahead and show you. By the way, there's tons of junk in here. I'm just gonna show it to you as is, full transparency. I mean, there is some stuff that I wanna move, but I really don't have anywhere to put it. So it would basically just be moving one pile of junk to another pile of junk. Once I get the walls up and we get the electricity, or, you know, the outlets and stuff, I can start moving a lot of this stuff out, because I'll have to put the floor in on here, and it's gonna help a lot. But there's a better view of my water tank over there, so that's in the corner. And like I said, you know, that's gonna be covered up eventually, but I don't really ever have to have that in any of my shots. So over here is where my desk is gonna be. So that's gonna be where my, you know, work from home station is gonna be, my editing station. It's a little cubby. Normally you would put, like, you know, an outdoor, you know, mini freezer out here, but I'm gonna use it as my desk area, my office area. You can't see it right now, but there's an outlet smack dab in the middle of the wall, so it works out just great. Let me take you over here. So this is going to be my ultra short throw testing station. I've got a Hisense projector right here. I really need to review that, but I haven't done it just because I have a screen. So there's a screen over here. That big, huge, humongous, tall thing is a ambient light rejecting screen, and I just haven't put it up because I didn't have anywhere to put it yet. I probably need to do that soon, just because, you know, I don't know when I'm going to start getting in some short throws to review. But I kind of don't want to do it right now, just because we're still working in here and I don't want to risk messing it up. And then it's so big, it's 100-inch, so I would have to move everything and basically take up all the floor space to put it up. So I don't know. I don't really need to do it right now because I don't have anything really coming in, but, you know. So that is the ultra short throw projector. And then I've got a Marantz receiver that's not really working right now. I'm going to take that eventually and get that fixed, and I'll use that, you know, in the interim when I'm doing testing. I want to get some SVS prime wireless speakers, or just some speakers to hook up to, just maybe like a little 2-channel to use, you know, when I'm testing ultra short throws. But let me show you. So I have the Hisense on right now because I wanted to show you what the, you know, to give you an idea of what the room is going to be like. So this is going to be my testing station over here. Let me turn off the light so you can see. So even with the lights off on, or, you know, even just using the wall, which there's imperfections on it, the picture still looks good. And it's a little bit washed out right now because I have my studio lights on. But that'll give you an idea of what the testing area is going to be like. So I have a IKEA TV stand that I bought. Let me flip the lights back on. That I bought, that I'll be using, and I like it because it's got some doors and I can put some stuff in there. You know, I can put a center channel in there if I want, or, you know, whatever. But I can put stuff in there, game consoles,
receivers and stuff like that. It's got a shelf in there, and it's got basically 6 spots that I could use. Just got that. But, over here is going to be the doorway. So I would take you on the other side, but I don't have any light in there right now. And I don't really feel like moving on my studio lights. But that's going to be the doorway. There's the door. And that's what I'm going to be using. This is the wall. Obviously, there's a Ethernet cable right there that I already went up in the attic and, basically pre-wired because it's going to be in the wall, and I wanted to make sure I got that done first. So I'm going to use a combination of Ethernet switches for this room. That's going to be the main drop, and then I'll just run some cable down on the bottom before we put up the walls so that I can get cable or Ethernet to my desk station. But yeah, that's pretty much it so far. I'm really excited about this corner over here. Once I get the screen up, it's gonna look, the picture's gonna look a lot better. I probably won't do any like legit testing because I don't want to do that. If companies send me something, I'm not gonna just use, the wall, because that's not gonna be, that wouldn't be right. But like, I have watched a couple movies, not full movies, but just like some clips in here. And man, just using it on the wall, it still looks very good. This is a Hisense. I don't remember what the model is right now, but I'll have this for now. And then over there, I don't know if you can see it that good. Let me get it closer. There's a Jurassic Park wall art that I need to put up as well. So I need to put that up as well. Haven't figured out where I'm going to put that yet. I've got some other stuff that I'm going to do that I'm really excited about on that wall, the back wall that I use behind me. But I got that, and the yellow Batman sign, I got that at Hobby Lobby. They had a 50% off sale on all wall decor, including, like movie stuff. So I went in there and got a couple of stuff. I've got to put some lights in the ceiling. We're going to move this light that is on the ceiling currently in here. We're going to move that to the other side, and then we're going to put 3 can lights, and then I'm going to use some smart lights where I can basically control it, as a smart feature with my phone, Siri, Matter, all that stuff. I'm probably going to keep going with Nanoleaf, but that's what it looks like from over here. So it's gonna be a nice little spot. It's not huge, but it's way bigger than what I'm in now, and way bigger than what I was using as my studio in the back of my theater. So this right here, this is my white balance card that I use to, for my camera. But I'm really excited, man. Like, I'm glad that I have a space, that I have some space now that I can just come in here and set up. Right now it's cool, so it's not really an issue, but I'm gonna have to probably just go ahead and get a mini split. I wanted to try to tie into the current AC system, but I just don't want to mess with that. It's not rated for this room. Even though it's really not that big, it would probably still not work efficiently. So I'm gonna have to get a mini split. And right now it's okay. I can come in here and film and record stuff because it's winter, even though in Houston we don't really get a real winter. But once it starts getting hot, I'm not gonna be able to film in here. So hopefully in the next couple of months before it starts getting hot, I can get me a mini split, and then I can just come in here and work and do what I need to do. So that's pretty much it so far.
All right, guys. Well, that's the update that I have for you. Let me know down in the comments, would you do something like this? Would you turn your garage or half your garage or part of your garage into an office/YouTube studio? I'm really excited about, the future of the channel and having an actual like space to not only record in, but to just give you better quality videos. Hopefully you've seen that so far. I mean, just moving in here and being able to record in here with a proper backdrop and a proper setup, even though it's not completely finished, has helped me out so much. I've saved so much time just not having to set up anything, move everything. I still have to move some things sometimes, but not having to move everything, being able to leave everything in one place, and it's just more efficient. and it's helped me make better videos. Hopefully you guys feel that way as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know I talked to one of my subscribers and he said that, you know, he's planning on starting a YouTube channel, a barbecue channel. So I'm excited for him about that. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are planning on starting your own channel, whether it's home theater, cooking, whatever, if you would do something like this, or if you have your own dedicated space. And make sure you give me some ideas as well, because I'm always open to suggestions. There may be things that I didn't think about that I could implement in my setup or in the future. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.